Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Hello, you're listening to the podcast. So there I was. This is episode number 194. Pushing 10.
Pushing 10. Yeah.
Pushing 10.
I'm sad to report that we cannot say that no animals were harmed during
No, you're right. Yes, you're right. There is a theme in our podcast, and it is being carried on in this one. It wasn't livestock, but there was maybe, I'm not going to give it away. Anyway,
you'll hear it.
2 tower air traffic controllers join us for a very good discussion.
It was a fun discussion.
Fun.
It's always fun to chat with controllers, to see what their perspective on life is. And I think they're an overlooked group of people.
Well,
they're super skilled and trained, and
it's like being a scheduler in the squadron. If everything goes right, nobody ever hears about them.
Right.
But if something goes wrong, well, they're the first ones that gets an ass chewing.
Oh.
And so that's kind of like air traffic control, man. I mean, if everything goes right, well, that's what they're supposed to be doing, right?
They're doing what they're supposed to do. That's right. But boy, is that an intricate system. And those guys that keep it glued together, I got to admire them for their patience and their endurance, especially, we chatted a little bit about what it was like during the shutdown. It was interesting to hear him say the biggest problem was the morale.
Well, their training regiment. And there's a lot of things that I really didn't know that we got answers to tonight.
You don't just learn how to talk on a radio and get cut loose. That's for sure.
No. We had some great,
it's a couple years.
Had some great crosstalk. Had some great stories. Kemo joined us as a guest co-host. He's sitting right next to me, and there was maybe some brown liquor and a cigar going on, and there's a lot of distraction. But
so it degenerated by the end, is what you're trying to say, without saying it.
It did.
There you go. Hey, we got a couple quick thank yous we need to get out here, Fig. We got a gent by the name of Mike Andrews who cracked open his wallet and threw a Benjamin at us. It's therewas.us/donate. Mr. Andrews, we're worried about you.
So humbled, so thankful, but boy, are we concerned about your judgment.
Right. Yeah. Just don't tell your financial advisor what you're doing with your money, and we'll all be fine.
Yeah, it'd be all right.
And then there's John Veffler, who also became a division leader at sotherewas.us/Patreon. Thank you, Mr. Veffler.
Yes, thank you.
We're humbled by your
Once
generosity
again,
as well. We couldn't keep this show going without people doing this.
We're humbled by your generosity, and we appreciate your support more than words can express. But we truly are worried about your judgment.
We are indeed. So. And another cool thing along the money line, we're bringing on a new sponsor this week, which we are thrilled to do, DCArtworks.net. DCArtworks.net. This guy is an artiste.
Hey, is that his artwork hanging over your left shoulder?
It is, which you can't see if you're listening on the podcast, but those are my gold naval aviator wings, and they're about...
Let's just call it 2 feet.
They're made of...
It's 2 feet across, and it's multiple layers.
Laser
3D.
cut steel, hand painted. They're gorgeous. And I've seen some of his artwork. If you go to dcartworks.net, look on his website, you will see him standing by a 4-foot in diameter squadron patch, painted squadron patch, cut in steel.
Yeah, and I actually have the exact wings over your shoulder in my fighter bar at home. He's actually an old squadron mate, and he is a true artist. And holy cow.
Yeah, so we're thrilled to be bringing Derek on board with DCArtworks.net.
Yes, so thank you, DCArtworks.net.
Yeah. So, but you know what? We've rambled and rattled on long enough. Perhaps we should get out of the way and let them tell their stories. But Styx has put up a banner for us.
You want to read that?
That says,
read that.
From the movie Pushing 10, if you don't know about it, it's about air traffic controllers. You land a million planes safely, then you have one little midair, and you never hear the end of it. So,
One little midair. Yeah.
One little midair. Yeah. So, All right, everybody. I say
Let's get out of the way.
Until next week, stay safe and watch out for a stuck mic.
Don't sit on the microphone switch. Don't block the microphone switch.
Don't do it.
This here is a true story about crossing the pond at night in the world's smallest cockpit on the tanker through the weather. Oh, and to the tanker crew who did that, thanks a lot. We really appreciated that. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Well, there I was crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly fond.
Yeah, and there I was, San Juan Tower, freshly certified air traffic controller, and nothing like watching an Airbus 320 off departure roll and an Islander 500 feet off the deck cross right to left. So that's my there I was story. Yeah. Yeah, that was like a week after certification we saw that. So
I bet it was a week after that before you take a dump. Get your butthole so tight on that.
It was actually
instantaneous.
Tower, sir. yeah, it was instantaneous that time. So
fantastic. Man. Greetings, everyone. RePete here, recording tonight. So there I was from New Hampshire. We've got a co-host and a guest, a co-host and a guest co-host tonight. Where art thou, my co-host?
Well, I am in Denver, Colorado, with my good friend Kemo. We're in an undisclosed location in Denver, Colorado, in his bunker.
G14 classified.
However,
it appears to be a cigar lounge.
It could be. But it is our distinct pleasure to welcome two of the FAA's finest air traffic controllers, Curtis and Paul. Welcome to So There I Was, my friends.
Thanks for having us.
Curtis and Paul. Yeah, both from Quonset. I want to take just a quick second to say that since they are currently with the FAA, anything they say, views and opinions and all that are strictly their own. They don't represent the FAA, and nothing they say should be taken as official FAA position, policy, or guidance. And no, they can't get you out of your pilot deviation or violation. So don't ask.
Hold on a second. We thought these guys were going to have some pull to get this thing fixed.
Right?
Sometimes.
If they give us a phone number to call halfway through this, I'm signing off.
There you go. Right? No Brasher warnings allowed here tonight, boys.
Absolutely. You got it.
Oh, fantastic. All right. Well, let's start off with Paul. Paul, where are you from, and how did you become an air traffic controller?
Sure. So originally from Poland, as you can probably tell by my accent. I've been coming to the States since I was a little kid. My dad was here since the 80s. And the very first time I landed at New York Tower, and I believe it was 2000, and I saw this brand new tower being built, I just knew then and there that's something I want to do. So I grew up in New Jersey, went to school in Florida, went to a CTI program, and got picked up in 2020, right before COVID. I got my offer letter in 2019. Took about a year to get my class scheduled, and got my offer letter, went through the academy, and here I am, still newly certified. It's been less than a year at Providence, and I'm loving every minute of it. It's been a ride. It's been a grind, a hustle, but it's definitely worth it if you enjoy the job, if you enjoy aviation. It's definitely for you.
Nice. Okay. So that's sounds like kind of a grind. We'll get into that a little bit then to find out how it is you get through ATC. But of course, nothing with the government is ever fast, instantaneous.
Nope.
Except for a Brasher warning. And we've got Curtis, who opened with watching an Airbus and an Islander trying to meet up.
Trying to trade code, yeah.
Oh, man. How'd you get into this ATC gig?
Well, I gave up on my hopes and dreams of becoming a pilot. I applied to a CTI school for flight ops program. I wanted to be a pilot. It was my dream to be a corporate pilot. And the year I showed up, they basically taught out the program. They were selling off all the airplanes, and they said, well, the only thing we have left in aviation is air traffic. And I had no idea what that was. I said, what do you do? And they brought me to the simulators, and the rest is history. So good old abandoning the government, the dream there, and become a government employee. So
there you go.
Where was that, Curtis?
That's in Nashville, New Hampshire. That was Daniel Webster College.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that's done now too, actually.
Yeah, they closed. They taught out the program. They absorbed that program into Southern New Hampshire University. They now own that program.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
And are they continuing on with it? Do you know?
Yeah, they still have it. And even the enhanced CTI program, too, that DFA now offers is based out of Nashville Community College, too. So you can go there, too, and start learning air traffic. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Do they have like full-on simulators like center and terminal and all that kind of stuff and tower?
Yeah, the anything that's like an FAA program that gets you basically the ability to direct hire to a facility will have to have that. Multi-million-dollar simulators are almost 360 degrees around you. Obviously you build up to that. You don't start at that. You start on a tabletop with little plastic airplanes, and the instructors walk around the table through a pattern, and then eventually you get to a desktop. Yeah, exactly. And you go to a desktop, and that's just like Microsoft Flight Simulator, except from air traffic's perspective. And then eventually you'll get up to the big simulators, and that's where it's basically a screen. They want to see how you handle the pressure, how you handle, things going south fast. How do you recover? That's all they're looking for. Sure. And if you pass that and you qualify for all the employment stuff, they'll take you on as an air traffic controller for the government. So,
all right, I got a silly question. For you boys. So you're both tower controllers, but is there a different pipeline for like en route controllers or approach controllers?
When you initially get hired with the agency, I think it's the luck of the draw. Some FAA person will just email you and say, you're going to en route school, which is the centers, or you're going to terminal, which is a tower school. The only difference is in about an extra month of class time out in Oklahoma City. So
which is a longer course, the tower or the en route?
The en route, they do an extra month of non-radar, and they teach you the old way of, counting radials and miles and time in your head. And you're just looking at a clock with a strip board, and that's how they're doing that. And they teach you that for a month.
That's terrifying.
Another silly question from me. So are you guys like cross-trained, or once you're terminal, or?
Yeah, once you're terminal. So specifically at Providence, we have both. We have a tower and a TRACON. So we're radar certified for terminal radar, and we're also tower certified. So we have 2 of the 3 ratings, Providence, which is a lot. So the center's a different world, though. Like I go up sometimes and I visit Boston Center, and you walk onto the ops floor, and I don't even know what's going on, and I'm in the industry. So it's different screens, different technology, different keyboards, different sounds. It's vastly different. So it's a different world up there for sure.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna just so I make sure I understood you. You guys are both tower and TRACON qualified. Will you do both in a day, or like? Yeah. No shit.
Yeah. Literally, it's just once you're fully certified, it's wherever the body's needed. So I could go start my day in the tower on clearance delivery, and then I can go downstairs and work our busiest radar sector, and then wherever the rotation is needed is where I'll go. So yeah.
Hey, before we get too far downrange, maybe we should define TRACON. That's an acronym.
TRACON is Terminal Radar Approach Control. So it is a designed parameter of airspace that usually surrounds airports, and our job is to take aircraft from the center descending and line them up to a runway, and we take the airplanes off the runway and put them in a line for the center to put them to the en route structure. So typically you're looking below 14,000 feet to the surface in any diameter of airspace. So
okay.
Yeah.
And then one more administrative type question. Is there a difference in pay depending on where you are?
Yes.
En route, tower, TRACON. I mean, is it different levels?
It's not necessarily. So yes, there is different levels. So air traffic levels are designated by a multitude of factors. So you have complexity ratings, you have traffic counts, stuff like that. Typically your busier facilities will pay more. So obviously somebody that's working in a podunk tower in the Midwest will not necessarily earn as much as somebody that's working at Atlanta Tower or Chicago O'Hare. But yeah, those are all predetermined through different factors. And there are ways for facilities to either increase or decrease. Those are evaluated yearly. and they have built-in thresholds to hit for traffic counts for that. But that pay is based on that for sure.
Does time around the pattern, does that count? Someone doing touch and ghost, does that help or no?
Not as much as you think, and it's interesting because especially in the terminal environment, like down in the radar room, we have 80 miles of airspace right to left, and a Skyhawk that's doing 60 knots that's going to be in the airspace for an hour and a half. I have to miss that aircraft, 60 times in an hour that it's going to be in my airspace, but I only get one traffic count for that entire hour on that airplane, even though I'm missing it 60 times.
So you want fast movers?
I love fast movers.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You're speaking Kemo's language.
There you go.
Well,
yeah.
Oh man, so no kidding. Yeah, I guess I never thought about it, but that makes sense. That if you're working at Atlanta Tower, you're going to make more money than if you're working in Paducah, Kentucky, literally.
Yep.
So,
yep. Absolutely.
All right. Oh, fantastic. All right. Which of those jobs, Tracon or Tower, requires more concentration or more mental intensity, I guess? So which one's more intense from your perspective?
I would say it all depends on the facility. I mean, if you Google it, arguably LAX ground is one of the most difficult position in ATC in the country.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, you have like N90 or SoCal, which are Tracon facilities, which they tend to be the most difficult and complex. So it just depends on a facility. I think in Providence, our radar is way more difficult than our tower. Because I don't know if you can talk about Boston, how Logan, I know Logan is very complex when it comes to ground operations, but so is A90 with their sequencing. So I don't know about that.
It's taxiing around Logan's a full fucking emergency, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Especially if it's dark and the runways or taxiways are wet and everything.
Oh, yeah. And plus, you got two local controllers, two tower controllers controlling the runways on two different frequencies.
Yeah, you don't know what the fuck they're saying half the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, it depends. I mean, both are obviously, they have their own challenges, obviously, but, it's not to take away. Like we say, Providence, our Tracon is busier and more complex, but it doesn't mean that our towers doesn't have its complexities or, not that we don't have a separate, the same amount of attention is given to both, for sure. Safety, obviously, being number one.
Sure.
Yeah, but out of the facilities, have been like, even when I started off at San Juan Tower, it's technically an air traffic level 7, so it's middle of the pack. You have airliners, you've got cargo, you've got flight school, you've got GA, you've got military. It's all mixed in there, and each of those carry their own complexities too, and they have different rules, and there's wake turbulence and all that stuff. So, the tower can be complex depending on the scenario and what you got going on. Taxiway closures, runway closures, construction, that all inhibits your abilities upstairs. Downstairs, it's volume and then frequency congestion. Or if we're combining sectors and we have multiple frequencies at once, the pilots can't hear the other frequency. So there's definitely challenges associated with both for sure.
Well, I'll add that we as pilots have all taxiway closures and restrictions memorized, so we aren't relying on you controllers much at all.
Can I get that in writing, please?
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Okay.
And so when you're reading the NOTAMs for an airport and it starts talking about taxiway closures and in between,
my eyes start bleeding.
Oh yeah, well, and then you find out, this NOTAM is expired. And it's old news,
or doesn't go in effect until tomorrow at 3 a.m.
Get cleaned up. Yeah.
So unfortunately, as ATC, we don't write those. That's the airport itself. So
it's a broken system. It's horrible.
You guys know it's as broken as we do, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure it's probably equally frustrating on your side as it is ours. So
yeah.
So is there like a pinnacle position? Like, hey, I'm getting into air traffic control.
Kemo, get closer to the mic, brother. There you go.
That. I don't think his. No. I don't think his. Turn on the mic on you.
My mic is now on. Sorry.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Much better.
But technicalities. So my question was: is there like with all the positions that you can hold, is there one that's more coveted than others? Like in aviation, we have like certain places we want to be or go or fly. Is there a certain position that in your world that's like, this is the one that everybody wants? Or is it just like personal choice?
I would say it's more personally based. Yeah, it's geographically, where do you want to be? Where's home for you? Not everybody gets to be home. People are stuck at facilities for decades at a time, and it's extremely frustrating. I would say, like, yeah, it has to be personal.
Okay.
There are facilities that have more requests to transfer into than others. Like Denver Tower, I think, has a list of 60-something people every single time of people just requesting to show up there. They require only a certain amount of controllers, so they can only take so many. But there are places that are coveted. I think you learn a lot too through hearsay, through connections and stuff. You know, there's also a work-life balance. There's do I want to go and chase the money and clear as much as I can every year? Absolutely. But there's a cost with that, and that's sacrificing home time and quality of life. So, there's a balance there. Where are you at in your career? You got some young buck that wants to go ego chase. Absolutely. Let him rip, But as you get older, it becomes harder to kind of maintain that speed. And sometimes you just want to go to a nice little mid-level facility and ride off into the sunset, So I would have to say it's personal. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
How long have you guys been doing this? Years.
So for me, it's 10 years this month.
Oh,
for me, it's just about to be 6 in June.
Okay. So 10 and 6. And where are you guys in the hierarchy of the age of our air traffic control cadre? I mean, are you guys getting senior? I mean, are we way behind in hiring?
Don't you have to retire at 13?
Yeah.
What's that look like?
Seniority for us is different than the airline world, where it's not out of the airline or out of a base. I said it would more equate to being at a base. So the facility is the base. And so for every member that's at that facility, there's a date associated with them, and that's your seniority date. So I've been in 10 years as I've transferred through. This is my third facility, hopefully my final. And I'm in the middle of the pack.
So every time you move to a different location, you start at the bottom of the...
No, so our seniority date follows us.
Okay.
Yeah, unlike the airline world as well. Yeah, so there's some stark differences in seniority with the airlines and piloting versus controllers for sure.
Well, so your aviation, your ATC birthday is good no matter where you go.
Correct.
Right? Okay. Well, yep. So as long as we stay with the same airline, that's it. But if you leave an airline and go to a different one, you're starting over from.
Really?
Yeah.
Does that also change? Like, let's say you change base within that airline. No. Does that change too? No. Okay. Cool.
No. It's your start date, your birthday. That's your seniority date, no matter where you are.
Okay.
Unless you move to a different airline, and then it's.
Gotcha. So that's to prevent contract chasing. I'm assuming.
I don't know. That's a whole nother episode.
Gotcha.
At least.
Sorry for asking.
No, it's okay. I mean, we after the terrorist attacks of September 11th and all the bankruptcies and consolidations, and several airlines got rolled into one, and some of them were from different pilot unions, and even we had a fairly clean merger at the airline I work for, and it's still there's still guys that are not happy with the way the seniority thing worked out. So anytime you're blending seniority lists, it's not good.
Yeah.
But when you were all working on the same playing team, your seniority's the same no matter wherever you go, whatever base you go to. Now, we'll just leave it at that.
Fist fights and lawsuits, man. I literally almost saw fist fights in the cockpit over that once that discussion started getting going between two guys from two different airlines.
That's crazy.
Hey, I thought I was going to get my first landing as a second officer on the DC-10 though. Once these two guys started going at it, I go, oh, one of them's going to get knocked out and the other one's going to be hurt. I'm going to get a landing out of this. So, yeah, I mean, that's crazy. That and lawsuits and everything else. But so I got a question. I actually heard an approach controller tell me one time, he says, if you don't have at least one or two go-arounds a shift, you aren't trying hard enough to be efficient. Any thought? There we go. I get some nodding going on there. Nod louder, boys.
I knew it.
Let me guess. That had to be at a busy airport.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, I heard that before. You get a big departure arrival push. You want to get everyone on the ground so people don't miss their connections and stuff. And you tend to run those 3 miles to as close as possible. And you don't know everyone's final approach speed. We kind of estimate based on the aircraft type and what a similar type before you came in was doing with the winds and stuff. But sometimes once you get just too close to that 3 or 2.5 mile mark, someone's going around. But yeah, I definitely heard that.
It's a pride game. It's a pride game for sure. The approach wants to make the tower squeal. The tower wants to jam the departure controller with departures, right? So, but it's not to the point where you're sacrificing safety for it. It's not necessarily an actual egotistical game here.
Sure.
But it definitely is. Some people do want to challenge themselves and hold themselves to I ran it once this way at a busy facility, so I'm going to do it again. There's a time and a place for sure, and we train to that too. We train where, you're going to work like you're busy all the time. So when it does get busy, how to do that, and how to squeeze that departure out with a 3 mile final, right? So, that's the type of stuff that we do teach. So, but I would say specifically for us here, if we have 1 to 2 a day, that's a shift. It's a lot. We usually see about once a week.
Curtis, you triggered a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what kind of training, do you have annual training requirements, semi-annual training requirements? And do you take a check ride once a year, every 6 months? How's that?
So we're slightly different. We don't have necessarily, so we will have annual training of like special scenarios. So in the radar environment, we'll hop into the simulator and it'll be something completely made up and like outrageous. You'll never see it. It'll be Air Force One that's fuel dumping and needs to divert, loses an engine. Like you have like the worst case scenario possible. And it's usually rare phraseology stuff that you typically will not see on a typical shift. And that's just to make sure we're hitting the right cadence with it. We're getting the right information out at the right time, stuff like that. But as far as like to get certified, you have a check ride with your supervisor for sure. And it's a lengthy process. But once you are certified, we do have more computer-based training, I would say, on a monthly basis than we have, an over the shoulder with a supervisor. That rarely happens unless we lose currency. We are required to maintain a certain hours a month, just like I'm sure pilots are required to have certain landings and takeoffs in a month or in a time period, So same thing for us. We just don't have that over the shoulder direct monitoring type stuff once you are certified.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, Big Kemo, hope you're sitting at attention. We got First Sergeant Crouch here asking if pushing 10 was an accurate portrayal of the life of an air traffic controller.
These guys probably have never seen it because that movie.
No, we had it on our. We used to have it on our break room.
Oh, there you go.
Oh my gosh, okay. Good.
We had one trainee said he's never seen it, so we put it on for him. I'll let Paul take that one. I'll let Paul take that one. Paul worked there, so.
Do it. So let's hear
it. I think most controllers look at the movie as a comedy.
Yeah.
Obviously, like any movie, there's some aspects to it that were accurate. Some are just totally out of whack. It's not a accurate portrayal, especially in today's world. The movie was shot in the 90s, different era in the agency, different mindset, different group of controllers, a lot of military guys versus now it's a lot of civilians that go into the field, off the street, quote unquote. I still want to experience the 747 wake from the engines. So if you know a place or know somebody, sign me up. But I would say overall, it was more of a comedy rather than an accurate documentary about ATC. Great movie, in my opinion.
Lots of fun. It's like I used to go in the crew room. We'd play a midnight movie, for the hub turns, and nothing's funnier than watching 140 pilots sitting there watching the movie Airplane. So,
right. There was a scene where the two, I forgot their names, the controllers were kind of going at each other, and one was trying to prove that he's the better one, but speaking faster and jamming more airplanes into final. And we do have that type of mentality sometimes when we sit next to somebody. Like if I sit next to Curtis, I'm like, hey, see if I can land more airplanes than you. But it's, it's not malicious. It's friendly and always done in a safe manner, kind of challenging ourselves, making sure we're still, on top of our game when, it does get busy, but not to the point where, we'll try to unplug someone and, mess his sequence up on purpose. That's not what we do.
Yeah, that was more a lot like a confrontational because you had the hot shot coming in from, where was he from? Denver, out west, Phoenix or something like that.
Right.
I forget. And we try to. There's been a shift, I would say, as the agency grows in its years, that it's more of a crew based. It's not the individual; it's the team, right? If one person is struggling, we're all going to be struggling. If we can help the next person, then that in turn will help everybody else. So. Yeah. It's not accurate in that sense, but there are some moments where you're like, okay, yeah, that's pretty legit. But it's also cringy.
Okay.
You guys know that the movie Top Gun is spot on. It's so accurate how it really was back then, flying fighters in the Navy. It's like the most accurate, spot on movie ever made.
We called it
riding around a motorcycle without a helmet on, and
Kemo is an excellent volleyball player.
Well,
you have 14s in the Navy.
But I didn't do too well in the whole shower scene rehearsal, so they cut me from that.
Nice.
So
nice.
So with regards to your roles and positions and whatnot, we have in the airline world, like we have our crazy spot. It's like, oh, you're from there. Oh, you work there? Damn, type of thing. Do you have those places in your world where it's like, oh, hey, I'm coming from here. Where'd you work before? Oh, I was in Denver or LA or New York or whatever. Is there like a place where you're like, holy shit, that's where the business gets done, type of place?
Yeah, I could see. Yeah, you could see each region has its own one. So even just in the New England region, which is a very small region. Yeah, you're looking at your majors for sure. Your Boston Tower, your A90, which is your Boston Tracon, who does all the radar services for it. But yeah, it's a very small world, and there is a hefty majority that are ex-military, and do you know this person? Yeah, well, I was stationed here, and it's constantly evolving like that.
Yeah.
As far as facilities, though, yeah. Yeah, there are facilities though. Like there's the N90 of the world, New York Tracon. The New York Tracon is what they'll say. That is where that it is.
The University, the New York Tracon.
The Tracon.
That's where you check in and don't say shit. You just go, yep, they'll get to me. I'll just wait.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah. So like something like that. If you're a controller there, yeah, you're the real deal because that's a pretty intense training program for sure.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, just the thought of, in our worlds where we've come from, we thought we have timelines, we have execution, we know when we need to turn or do things, but it's just us. And you're coordinating how many if you're working you're working tower, so it might be speaking out of turn, but when you're working to approach the sequence guys into the tower, whether it's IFR or not, let's just call it IFR. What's like a busy day? How many people are you allowed to control in one sitting? How many people are you allowed in that sector?
Or on the same frequency at the same time? Yeah.
So for Providence specifically, we don't really have like a sector saturation number. We don't have we can only have 20. Now your larger facilities obviously do it. The airlines will coordinate through what's called the command center based in Washington, and they submit all their proposed flight plans in and out of all the majors. And then that's where you get your flow programs, and they'll kind of schedule it so they know exactly what flight, how long it took to get from the departure into Boston to the threshold at Baltimore. And that type of stuff is calculated. But for Providence, that's not a major hub. That's typically fly through airspace and a regional airport. For us, it's more time on position that becomes the factor. So we're not allowed to shall not normally work more than 2 hours on position without a break.
Okay.
Is there times of that breaks? Yeah, for sure. But for controllers, it's more the time in the seat versus the planes in the airspace.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I've got a delicate question based on that then.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't answer
and it's okay to say no answer. I can't answer it, and that's fine if you don't want to. did that break? And if so, how often and how much with the recent government shutdown, whereupon you guys started finding yourselves a little more strained than on the average day?
I'll dance around this one.
There you go.
I mean,
So did you get the bonus?
I did not, unfortunately. I was unpatriotic. So that's kind of like the crazy thing. And I'll touch like surface level here, and I don't want to get political because it's not my wheelhouse.
Right. And we don't want you to get political, but just wondering how much did it break your system? Or strain it?
It was more of a morale hit than anything. The system is the same no matter what. We have the same equipment. We have this. Everything is the same. It's the morale. It's how do you keep the crew afloat? How do you keep the spirits high? How do you keep people motivated to keep pushing tin, as people say, right? That was the hard part, is making sure that. And then on top of it, you have people that are stressed because now, they're not getting paid. They have mortgages. They've got this. They've got that. So now you're increasing and adding unnecessary risk into a system that's already pretty stressed as it is. I mean, we're understaffed by at least 3,000 controllers. The pay has been stagnant for 13 years minimum. And it's just for a system that most Americans rely on, I think we do a pretty damn good job of holding it together. And especially when you get put in a situation for 45 days, you don't get a paycheck. I think we did a pretty damn good job.
Nice. I think so too.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That's a big deal. So, don't need you guys being
job.
like Clark Griswold at your breaking point out there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, go ahead, Kemo. Sorry.
No, I was just going to make a statement to you guys. Spot on. You guys did great during that arduous time, because for me, going from major areas to major areas, maybe it was just the time of day. I don't know, but I honestly didn't notice too much of a lull or any type of backlog or whatnot. I know it was probably happening, but at least where I was flying around, I'll tell you what, you guys are doing a great job through that storm. So thank you.
No, we appreciate that. Yeah, thanks. And I think we kind of lucked out too, because it happened to be the quiet part of the year after summertime and before the holiday travel season. And I think that's what helped. I mean, it was definitely still a factor, but that's the lull. That's the quiet time. Obviously, the freight dogs are still going at night and all hours of the day, but for the most part, the volume was down, but there was still some stuff there.
Clear to start engines and engage rotors. Sticks here. Do you have a friend or a family member who has served? Or are you part of a unit or an organization or team that deserves a sign or a plaque that is as distinguished as the team is? Then I want to share with you a business producing exceptional, one-of-a-kind gifts, plaques, and so much more. You have got to check out DC Artworks. DC Artworks uses CNC plasma cutters, powder coating, and multi-material engraving that puts depth, texture, and scale in their final product. They produce one-of-a-kind plaques, signs, memorabilia that is completely customizable to your exact vision. The final product is rock-solid metal and will stand the test of time. Want to fabricate a unit patch out of steel? Need a set of pilot wings? Need a custom sign that makes your unit stand out? Maybe you need a fire pit, bottle opener, or even a seasonal item. Then fly on over to DC Artworks. That's dcartworks.net. I bet if you can picture it in your head, then DC Artworks can produce it. DC Artworks is owned and operated by Derek Coombs, who is a veteran and in military aviation. He brings Blue Angel quality detail to his work product, and you won't find any artwork of this caliber anywhere else. As some of you know, I created the artwork for the show, and I'm a maker as well, with experience in woodworking, 3D printing, CNC, and laser engraving. I know quality workmanship when I see it, and you're not going to find better quality workmanship than you are at DC Artworks. He has everything from small gifts like bottle openers to massive projects such as unit patches up to 4 feet in diameter that would look outstanding in a unit CO's office, or a sign on a quarterdeck at the entryway to your unit, or perhaps at the entryway to a fire station. Heck, I bet Fig is going to be getting something made up for his ready room. DC Artworks delivers distinguished artwork that is guaranteed to make your eyes pop and leave anyone looking at it speechless. Also, DC Artworks is a government purchase card vendor with discounts for government agencies. The team at So There I Was is very selective of who we take on as sponsors. We are dedicated to not vector our listeners on a bogus heading. You have my word. You will be nothing short of astounded of the final product. Go on over to dcartworks.net. That's DC, Delta Charlie, Art, Alpha Romeo Tango, Works, Whiskey Oscar Romeo Kilo Sierra.net. dcartworks.net. And for our listeners, and this part is permanent, use code STIW at dcartworks.net and get 20% off every order forever, even if another discount is already running. That's STIW for So There I Was. So pull pitch, nose over, and make a no-hover landing at dcartworks.net.
All right, I was trying to get to this question earlier, and then you just re-triggered it. So you said you're 3,000 understaffed. So what does that mean, really? I mean, how big is how many aircraft controllers are there? And what's that mean? Are you 30% under or 20%? I mean, can you give me a number? Or get me close.
Yeah. So right now we're sitting around just under 11,000 certified controllers.
Okay.
10,000 and change. The exact number off the top of my head couldn't give it to you. Okay. Where you're supposed to be is we're supposed to be sitting around 13,000. And the way they calculate that is every facility has a target certified number. So for instance, at Providence, our number is 37. Our target is 37. To be 100% staff, we need 37 certified controllers.
Okay.
Right now we have 23. And I'm losing 2 in 2 weeks. So we're going down to 21. So now obviously you're going, okay, well now we had 37 shifts or 37 people's shifts that you were supposed to cover. How do we cover that with 21 people? Mm-hmm. And that's just Providence. And now you're multiplying that, different facilities. So that's how they get that number, is just the overall total number certified.
And as far as the leaving goes, is that just, I mean, there's probably like multiple reasons, but is it the job or is it the retirements, or what are you seeing as the people leaving for?
Yeah, so you have, I would say retention's huge. So we can retire 25 years with government service, right? So I got hired at 22. I can punch out at 47. I get kicked out at 56. So now how do you keep me in my position from 47 to 56? So that's problem number one, is there's a bunch of people in that category that are eligible before they are required to be retired. And it's also a recruitment issue. It's a very difficult job to get into. They have a screen process. Let's say, quick numbers, 1,000 applicants. That's not true. Every year we have 58,000 people apply to these off-the-street hires. We have 58,000 applicants every single time.
Wow.
What happens is they're gonna say we're gonna select 1,800. How they do that, I don't know. And then out of that 1,800, okay, now we start the process of, you need a psychological evaluation. You need a medical.
That takes 2/3 out right there.
Exactly.
You're crazy to want to do your job.
You say you got 58,000 apply every year, and as soon as they say, well, you got to have random drug testing. Oh fuck, I'm out.
Yep. And then
I'll never pass a drug test. So that
you nailed it right there. It narrows your window down. So when you see on the news, oh, we had max hiring, we had 2,800 controllers hired, they're reporting that as if they're certified. They're not. They still have 3 years of training before they become a certified controller.
And what's the washout rate, guys? What's the
I know that's high.
You start with 10. How many do you actually graduate?
So in my class, we only lost 4. So that's pretty good.
That's out of 5.
That was like an extraordinary class. Pavel, if you want to talk about yours.
Yeah, so when I got hired, I first got hired on the N90 New York TRACON bid, which is its own separate bid. So going through the academy, go through all 3 stages of radar training, the last one being specifically designed for N90 and being the most difficult. So I was the first class to be called into Oklahoma City after COVID reopening in 2020. And in the 5 classes prior, including my own, the amount of people that made it through the last portion of training, including myself, was something like 28%. So we had 40-something students that went through, and I think 8 or 9, including myself, were actually sent to N90 to start training there. Just to, and that just simulated training and bookwork knowledge. It's, months and years away from actually being able to do it in real life.
Yeah. And then even at Oklahoma, they had numbers based on, so this was back when I got hired back in 2016. Like if you got the en route section, so if you're going to go to a center, their success rate at the time at Oklahoma City was around 37%. The non-radar portion is really what canned a lot of people was how do you create a 3D chess game in your head and all you have is a clock in front of you? And that's what they were trying to teach you to do. And it's designed that way on purpose. It is a screen. It is making sure that you have the attributes to at least be moldable into what we would consider a certified controller. And at the time, the tower class was around 70% pass rate. So only a 30% wash rate at that point. So it's changed over the years. There's different requirements each year. They reevaluate how are the, the trainees that are leaving Oklahoma and going to facilities, what are they strong at? What are they weak at? How do we need to change Oklahoma? And they reevaluate that on a yearly basis. So those numbers do fluctuate, but I would say it's more your facility washout rates are what get you. So right now, Providence, I think our success rate is like 63 or 64%. So, I mean, you have 12 trainees, you're going to get 5 of them certified over 2 years. Wow. You're going to have 7 washout. Yeah, and that's characterized for each building. So each building's going to have its own complexities, its own training, its own everything. So,
okay, well, that sparked another question for me. So,
yeah, go ahead.
You get I just graduated from Oklahoma City, wherever. I show up I'm coming to Providence to be a controller. How long is it going to take me to go safe for solo? Is that like a 2-year thing?
2.5 years.
Oh my gosh!
From walking in the door to fully certified, about 2.5 years.
Wow! And so, do you guys have? Well, are you an instructor? I mean, can you?
Yeah. Once you are certified for a year, you train the next batch, and that's strictly just on the floor training, like live traffic training. There's a whole other department that does all the classroom and the bookwork section and stuff like that. So,
when you think about it, Fig, we're probably 2.5 years till we're able to drop a bomb in combat from the time we start. 2.5, 3 years. But
what? See, I was trying to figure out how to equate that to, what. So when we showed up at the Harrier Rag, we had our wings, and I mean I don't know, is that like the guys showing up from Oklahoma City to the tower at Providence?
I would say slightly different. Yeah, because when you show up from Oklahoma, you're still technically like a probationary employee with the government.
Okay.
So if you're within your 1 year mark, they can fire you for whatever. You being late, sick leave abuse, stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know how to equate it. How long does it take you to get wings? What's that process like?
Depending on the pipeline, it's anywhere from about 16 to 20, 24 months. And again, delays. Are the airplanes down for some reason? A safety thing? Are they out of instructors? All that.
Yep.
That's typically where we fell into the problems where you're tracking and all of a sudden there's a pool, as they call it, because they didn't have any spots for you in the RAG, or they didn't have any spots for you in the fleet, or budget cut,
or there wasn't a boat. So So there all these classes didn't get carrier qualified, so they're on hold to do good. So that backs everybody else up. The next thing you know, you're sitting around doing this for 4 months.
Yeah. I mean, when I got my wings, I went to Miramar, and when I checked in, the officer said, "You're not starting for 6 months. Go do something." So I had to go. I went TDY to Boost, which is at the Naval Training Center boot camp in San Diego, for 6 months to be a company officer. And then other guys went to like the pool to like fold towels, or something. But it was just it was just ridiculous. So, but for whatever reason, they had those. So it took me, 3 years total from start of flight school to get through the RAG and into an operational squadron. But I had my wings in a year and a half. So then I spent a year and a half in the RAG, but I don't know how what's the RAG at ATC World, I wonder?
So we do have like a training backlog at some facilities. So if you look at like New York Center is like kind of like, it's going to sound bad and I don't want to offend anybody there, but it's kind of like the plague on the system. It's the plague of the FAA. Like they don't have a great success rate. They have a training backlog. They can't get enough people in there. I think every month or every quarter, that we put out, basically a transfer process, they can accept 300 something people. Like that's how far behind they are. And, So those are facilities that you would show up to, and they go, "Yeah, you're just going to sit in the classroom for 6 months until we can find you a class." Waiting on the classes ahead of you to get caught up and either continue training or you wash out and you do something else. So
for those that haven't been in New York airspace, though, it's varsity ball. There's no two ways about it. I've got a recording somewhere that I took one night. I just turned on my phone and did voice recording and let it listen to New York approach as we were going into Newark. And it probably goes for 20 minutes. I would venture to guess the longest dead air on that entire recording might be 10 or 12 seconds.
Yeah.
That's probably way too long, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
that's
3
just because
seconds
two
seems
guys
like
locked
an
on
eternity
each other and are
sometimes.
waiting for an answer.
Yeah.
Right?
And those are the controllers swapping out probably, right? So
yeah. Or that. Yeah. So that is real varsity. So I get why it's an environment, but that is intense. So, which I don't think people give enough credit to understand just how much pressure there is to get it right. Like doctors and pilots, when controllers make mistakes, people get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's put it in another way here. Let's say it a different way. When a doctor makes a mistake, one person's probably going to die.
Yeah.
If anybody on this conversation makes a mistake, we're taking out families.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's not fucking pretty.
Nope.
No. And so hence 2.5 years to get certified. And you're still getting watched over every time, right? So.
Oh yeah, and that's something that we find too, that we get these new hires, and let's say it's somebody who has no aviation background. They just said, screw it, I'll throw shit at the wall and see what sticks, and the air traffic happened to be it. We get those people, and they don't understand the severity behind certain things. Paul and I have worked for years now. We hear a tone in a pilot's voice. You hear a certain cadence. When something's up. The spidey sensors are going. They're not picking up on that. They don't know how to pick up on that. So it's like, not only do we have to teach them the bookwork of this is what you say, this is the rule, this is what this plane looks like, this is the amount of miles you give. You also have to teach them like the unspoken side of air traffic and our relationship with our counterparts. What do they need? What are they really asking you here? Are they saying something that you're reading through the lines on what you really need to get done here? So that would be a hard part of the job, and why I think a lot of people might not be successful is you can memorize the book back to front and recite it, but the application of it, the constant, how pilots are saying things, there's an urgency there that they're not getting. So it's tough to teach that side of it, and that's not really something that we're trained well on how to teach. How do you teach somebody to give a shit, in lack of better words, and they just don't know. They don't know that there's at the outcome at the end of that bad scenario that what could happen. So,
well, that'll take me back to First Sergeant Crouch's second question there, which was, you got that spidey sense up, and he talks about, we've talked about him on the show before too, a guy by the name of Bug Roach, who was an LSO, and he had the magic voice to get guys aboard the carrier that were having their night in the barrel, just several attempts at trying to get aboard and couldn't do it. And he'd get on and just, he'd fly the airplane for them by his voice and get them in. Have either of you had that experience where you've needed to, hey, take a beat, take a breath. We're with you. We're going to get you through this together. And that was an acceptable answer. If you haven't, you haven't, but.
I mean, it's just like, how many times do you think back,
Well, have you ever gone home at the end of the shift and driving home going, that could have gone a lot further south than it did?
Yeah, I was, I would say when I was
get to that type of question soon, because I have that question for you.
When I was a trainee at Boston Tower and ground control there, as you all know, is no joke. It's one of the hardest positions of that facility. There's many days that you're driving home in silence. It's almost like a trance. You get home and you find yourself, you come out of it, you're sitting on your couch, you realize you've been home for an hour, and you just go, "The hell just happened?"
There's definitely days. Is gone. Damn it, gone.
and you sit there and you go, "Yeah." There's times I've been like, I don't know how somebody didn't die today. There's been days like that for sure. I'm glad it's not. I'm glad I haven't had those experiences, but there's definitely moments.
It's a Tuesday for me.
Oh boy.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, there you go. Well, along those lines, what's I guess the funniest or the most baffling thing you've ever heard a pilot say, and on frequency? Have you done a double take? What the hell was that?
I don't think I have many stories. I don't know, Paul. You probably got a couple.
I wasn't working at the time, but for me, it had to definitely be a report of a man in a jetpack at 8,000 feet. We were just hovering at 8,000 feet on that jetpack, and a jet just blew by him. And the pilot was more confused than I was when I heard that. So,
I'd say a funny one is you get there's certain. I feel like I don't know. Maybe you can speak to this, but I feel like when you get to a certain point in your piloting career, there's not much they can do to really fire you. And so I've had a good experience with a couple Southwest pilots, and obviously they're short final, they're on the visual approach, they're cranking it in, they're flying like an absolute cowboy, and the flock of birds start going left to right across the runway. So I call it to him. I say, Southwest XXX, flock of birds left to right, you approach in. He said, too close, switching to guns. So, it stole that classic Top Gun line right there. So, just like little things like that where it just gets you a little chuckle, gets you through the shift, and it's the personality. So
I figure I'm muted, but yeah. So
hold on.
I found myself saying,
it's not just me. I feel better.
Yeah, I found myself saying, and I go, after I've said it, I went, I probably shouldn't say that, lest the report get made. But if I miss something or misunderstand something or whatever like that, I'll go, oh, sorry, my dyslexia is acting up. But
have you ever, hey, Delta 122, say speed.
Yep, that's all the time. We do that to each other, though.
Shit.
Yeah. We'll
okay, but that's not what I was going to say. Okay,
and then you say Delta 321. Say Brasher warning.
I'm in flight school. I'm in Meridian, Mississippi, in jet training, and we're T2s. That's intermediate jets. And the pattern was full of solos. I was one of them, and we're bouncing around the pattern, and there's different levels of experience in that pattern. And this one guy, he was so tongue tied. He was turning final, and he was calling the tower. And he couldn't remember his call sign, so he said, Steve, it's Steve. And I got my gear down. Tower controller said, Roger that, Steve, you're clear to land.
Right.
Conversely, we have in the military, we have base operations officer. And in Kingsville, Texas, you're in Meridian. So everything got like the base op. So we have it's like some old commander, some crusty dude. We had Montana, who was this crusty old. Yeah. But Montana was this old F8 guy, and he kind of ran, and they brought him back, and he was like this Terminal 05 commander, senior guy, and he owned the tower. And when I say that, he was like the head dude for all of the ATC controllers and whatnot. So he would still fly with the students. So we had a spin hop where they'd take out a T2 and they'd spin it and you'd depart it, and you'd recover it, and you go through all this unusual stuff. And then he'd bring it back. And he was the guy, I'm in the back, I'm a new guy. And he's like, he would check in, switch the tower, and he had the crusty voice,
Mm-hmm.
It's like, tower, this is Montana, I'm coming in. And that was it. And they're like, Roger that, sir, you're cleared for the option. So, which was like, whatever the hell you want to do till full stop landing. He would come in, do whatever, land and whatnot. But it was just kind of funny. I was like, can you do that? Can I say, hey, I'm Kemo Sabi, I'm here? No, I couldn't do that. It was just Montana. So it's just these levels of leadership and whatnot. It was just, but that's Montana. It was Montana, but it was the military. My gear's down. Please let me land.
Let me land, Steve. Oh, God. Hey, can we backtrack just for a second?
Yeah.
You were hired at 22.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to you, Curtis.
Yep.
Hired at 22, mandatory retirement age 56.
Yep.
So is that for any level of controller? Like, that's everybody? Yep. Whether you're en route or tower approach or...
Yeah, anybody that's a controller, yeah, absolutely. But there are certain positions within the FA that are not subject to that. So that's like usually our staff roles, staff support, front office, admins. They're not required. It is, you're talking to airplanes.
If you're a qualified certified air traffic controller, you're done at 56, whether you are at the top of your game or not.
Yep, you can apply for an extension, but it's like it's a mythical thing hearing one of those get approved these days. It's almost always no.
It's like a unicorn. So,
even
basically.
with the shortages, you'd think that they'd be offering those up.
So right now they're doing a program where they're giving anybody that's eligible 20% lump sum to stay on top. So it's just 20% of their yearly salary. We'll just throw that on top, lump sum for you to stay in and don't punch out. So
to stay in past 56.
No, to stay in when they're eligible. So, like, once you've hit your 25 years before you're 56, whatever years you have left,
so
you can retire any moment. I can go at 47. How do you keep me from retiring at 47 versus 56?
Sounds to me like they need to start throwing a bunch of money at you when you turn 47.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say no.
The age, but how often do you have to redo your medical?
Under 40 years old, it's every 2 years. After 40 years old, yearly.
Okay.
Yep. And then after 40, they bring back EKGs and stuff like that too.
Yeah. And is it similar to what we do? Is there like a first class, second class, third class, like
they have to do more than fog a mirror, Fig?
Well, I don't know. I'm asking. Is that
yeah, we don't class 2 medical
type thing?
No, we have a flight surgeon. Yeah, it's class 2 medical. So I think you guys are first.
Well, I mean, if you want to exercise privileges,
pilot in command is first class.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Well, that's sobering. I mean, when I started this gig, and I know you did too, RePete, mandatory retirement age for pilots was 60.
Yeah,
but due to
it blows my mind. The controllers. I mean, look, not to denigrate what you do. But you're sitting in an air-conditioned room of one or a heated room of one sort or another. You're not pulling G's and you're not banging a bunch of time zones, which isn't to denigrate how much stress you're truly under. But, oh, my God, 56, there's something wrong. That's broken.
Yeah,
and
so
I don't expect you to yay or nay that. That's a political thing that you may want to avoid. But I think that's absolutely broken.
Yeah, me personally, I'll fight that every day. I think 56 is where it needs to stay. I'll protect that age.
Good.
I mean, really? Okay.
I would too.
There's more lives in our hands in a single shift than a doctor will in their entire career, right? So I will protect it in the sense of, we'll look at any family member that starts slipping mentally, right?
Who's the oldest you can be and get hired?
31 if you're off the street. And then if it's a military hire, I think up to 35 with some exceptions.
Okay.
And those are pretty few and far between.
Okay. So you're going to be at least 21 years if you hit 56.
Yeah. If I go 56, I'll be 33 years and 34 years.
So I'd be more ready to go after 34 years, no doubt about it, than I would after 20. But
I want to plan for 47, but if I that's the goal. But if I fall short, I got some fluff on the backside to help me cover up.
There you go. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I got more questions.
Yeah, man.
Off topic. All right. From earlier. Sorry. Off topic.
No, it's on now. I was giving him shit because like totally off topic. I was like, so do you like cheese, sir?
No, that's not it. I wasn't going to ask you if you like cheese. I don't give a shit if you like cheese or not. Actually, do you like cheese? No. The question I was going to ask was, all right, because that was one of the things that was mandatory retirement age. But Air Force One, it's a pain in the ass. Air Force One ever come to Providence when you guys were on duty?
Yep.
What a shit show that is. Let's talk about that.
Well, Providence is not too big of an issue. So obviously, I mean, it's public knowledge, but there's a ramp freeze half hour prior and half hour after. Air Force One for us is a pretty slick operation. They're in, they're out. Obviously, the less time that they're on the ground, the better. So they've got it down to a science. So for us, it's usually they'll fly in, they'll have helicopters or a motorcade waiting. They go out, they do their thing. If they are staying at the airport, like the plane's parked with us, not just another airport, we will have Secret Service in the building with us. They oversee it. There's a phone line that we all monitor that is the entire country is on it, and it's the command center's phone. So we have to start. it sounds super crazy, but you phone
Is
this.
it red?
You phone this. No,
Okay.
Does it have
It's
a
a regular-
does it
Everyone
have a
would know which
flashing
phone
red
it
light?
was then, Kemo.
it's a regular phone, but it's just a certain number you dial and a certain password, and it
What?
gets you into this basically
Tell us
chat
it
room.
has a red light on
Okay,
it.
so what's
There's
hold on?
some
What's the
romance
number and
here that we
password? Just between
Changes.
us. So I won't tell the
Yeah.
listeners.
Yeah, password is password. Yeah,
Well, at least it isn't monkey.
So
Yeah.
does Air Force One ask permission to take off, or do they just tell you when they're taking off and you clear the area?
So we clear them. But it's very ambiguous. So an airliner, runway 23, taxi via this. You know, for Air Force One, it's okay. Taxi is requested. They give you everything in advance. Everything is kept off the public frequency because obviously it's public. It's a recorded line. Everybody can hear it. It's like a clearance. You're not clear to the Baltimore airport. You're cleared to destination airport. You can expect your requested altitude 10 minutes after departure. We're not going to tell on a public frequency what altitude they're going to climb to, except for their initial one.
Yeah, it's kind of
But-
sexy. I like it. Yeah, that's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get used to it. It's funny when you hear the tapes on YouTube and somebody calls it a heavy, and you're not supposed to. It explicitly says you don't call Air Force One a heavy if it's the VC-25. You don't want to give away what type aircraft they're flying because there might be multiple. They might have something else going on, right? There's so many things, and
Do
it's
they
cool.
change their call signs? No, is it? I don't know. You don't have to tell me if it's. But I mean, do they change their call sign? It's like, hey, you're Shark 1 today. You're Victory 2-3 tomorrow. I mean, is it like that, or can you?
Air Force One will always be Air Force One. So it's
Okay.
whatever the president's on, it's an Air Force plane, right? As we all know. What will change? Actually, I don't think there's many that do change. It's more so, let's say it's Marine One, and Marine One lands.
Now you're
And
talking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Guys, attention.
Give me 30 seconds. Keep going.
Sorry, it was a reflex.
Oh, wait,
Yeah,
wait.
it happens.
Okay, it's better.
All right. So, like, let's say Marine One lands, right? And then they're going to depart and they're going to do something else. So they'll go out now as their squadron call sign. That's the only time something changes, is if, something like that. But yeah, so it's a cool operation. I think it's one of the few times. So when I was down in San Juan, I was there for Maria, the Category 5 hurricane that decimated the island. And within a week, Air Force One came down. And there's this, I don't know how true this thing is, but it's just weird moment where the Secret Service guy has a little laptop next to me. And we're like, okay, he's like, they're going to be plus or minus 1 minute to the runway. And I go, bullshit. And he goes, you want to put money on it? And I'm like, yeah. So I casually slapped down a $20 bill on the table.
Wait, taking
He's
off or
popcorn.
landing? Taking off or landing?
Landing.
Okay.
So they're coming to us. And he goes, they'll be plus or minus 1 minute from this time. And I was like, no way. They're not that good.
And were you like an hour out or 2 hours out or like 15 minutes
Yeah,
out?
we're within like an hour. Yeah,
Okay.
somewhere within an hour though. But we're not seeing them. Like, I'm zooming out on the radar scope in the tower, and you're not really seeing anything. It's not picking up anything. And then all of a sudden, yep, there's 6 targets that pop up, and there's 1 lead, and there's 5 trailing. And I swear to God, he looked me right in the eye as the wheels were touching down, as he's taking my money off the table. They were literally on the money, like wheels down at the
That's
second
awesome.
they said it's a
He
slick
was
operation.
cheating. He knew better.
No, he did. So
that was mean.
yeah. So
He was
he gave
probably
me
just getting $20 back that he'd lost before on that same bet.
I know, right?
Yeah. Hey, how long were you in San Juan? And it sounds enjoyable. I mean, we fly to San Juan a lot. And how long were you there?
So I started there in 2016. I left in 2018, and I went back 2020 years. I was there for total time about 2.5, almost 3 years, but just split up between 2 different times. So
One of my more enjoyable layovers is that location, and I thought you guys have always done a good job over there. So I just was curious.
thanks. Yeah. I'll text the crews back and say, hey, we got good positive reviews.
Yeah, no, it's great positive reviews, man. Love that place.
And you know what? I've operated as out of San Juan before doing C-130 work. And one of the funniest things I ever heard. I've never heard it ever since, but on the takeoff roll on runway 8, my takeoff clearance was canceled because there was a iguana on the runway.
Yep. That was every
They're
day.
big out there, man.
They're fucking huge.
Yep. they sunbathe on the taxiways.
Yes.
So I can't remember how many times that we had, JetBlue and Delta and everybody stopped because so we're blocked by an iguana. And then I had a JetBlue there's a JetBlue taxiing out, and I don't know if you're familiar with the layout, but there's two bridges, taxiways, and right before it, there's a little hook. It's Charlie. And so I had him Charlie short of Bravo. He's hanging out, running his maintenance issue. And there's an iguana on the other taxiway blocking all the flow of traffic. And he's like, yeah, you got to get somebody out of here to take care of this thing. I go, all right, yeah, Ops 12, you out there? Yep, okay, we know, we'll go right to it. And he proceeds to get out of his car with a little hand shovel. It's like 3 feet long.
Oh, come
and
on,
he just
bro.
goes up and he's just smacking this iguana.
More dead animals.
I was going to ask if they like some sort of prized animal out there. You had to like.
He wasn't smacking it to kill it. He was just trying to get it the fuck off the taxiway, right?
No, they're little assholes. They're like squirrels out there. They're like there's no predator for them. They are the predator, right? Nothing hunts them. So.
Oh, that's funny.
So I can only imagine like 26A is just watching this iguana get absolutely beat to shit on a taxiway in the middle of the day.
Dragged it off into the grass by its tail.
Yep.
Oh, holy shit.
Tastes like chicken. Let's eat it.
Yeah. Now I've seen Nice, France closed down for snails on the runway and taxiway.
No,
come on.
I swear to God.
Liar.
I swear to God.
I'm not buying.
They got this snails migration, and it takes your braking action to zero.
Braking action nil because of snails.
Because of snail yuck.
No shit. Yeah, escargot all over in.
Hey, I hate to be
France.
I hate to be the pooper of the party, but you said something about an advertisement, and we're an hour and 6 minutes into this thing.
Yeah, well, and it still isn't up, so we'll get it in the final show. So not a big deal. Not a big deal. We'll get it in the. Besides, we only got about 7 or 8 more minutes here with Curtis before he's got to go back to work and keep people from killing each other. Ever get in a pissing contest with a pilot? Give him a Brasher warning. Come on, man. You can tell me.
Hey, what's Brasher stand for?
Brasher. Oh, yeah. Tell him who Brasher is.
I don't know if there's. I might be too young for this. I don't know if there's an actual story behind it.
I have no idea.
I don't think there's a story behind it, but I think it was either the administrator. I'll have to look it up and see. It was either the administrator who came up with the term. His name was Brasher. That said, hey, here's the phone call. You're being advised you have a violation. I'll look that up while you talk about
Kemo's
how many
on it
you've
right
issued
now.
and for why. Okay.
Yeah, but it's not coming up on Pornhub. I don't know why. Brasher. Sorry.
Whoa.
Oh, sorry, Russ.
Sorry, Mom and Dad.
Big busty Brashers.
Immediate notice from air traffic control to a pilot that they appear to have deviated from instructions, but named after Captain Jack Brasher, who experienced a delayed notification for a 1985 altitude bus, prompting the FAA to create this system for early, non-punitive fact-finding to enhance the aviation safety.
There you go.
Okay, so it's like Miranda rights.
Hold on a second. Here's the key takeaways. Non-punitive information gathering.
Yep.
Not so anymore.
Yeah.
I have yet to hear Brasher. I've just heard stand by to record the phone number.
Stand by for a phone number. I'm like,
they're supposed to give you the whole spiel to make it sound professional and all that, but it's possible pilot deviation, right? Because we're not going to accuse you because we don't. We know, but we don't really know, and it's you're innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, and same with the FAA. So
sorry, acting up.
Yeah, so I've never had like heated exchanges with them, but I mean it's as simple as an IFR departs off an uncontrolled field when there's a hold for release clearance, right? That's a pretty common one we get because Quonset Airport is 6 miles south of Providence Airport with like identical runway layouts. And so not only do we have aircraft, tons. We've had aircraft almost land at the wrong airport, and our controller caught it and got save of the year. So stuff like that. But it's just it's dumb shit like that where you're just like, dude, really, come on. There's a reason why we're saying it. There's a reason why we're doing it. And it was during the shutdown, so my patience was kind of thinned out at that point. and you're a hot shot in a Gulfstream. It doesn't mean you just get to avoid all the rules. Like, no, you're still flying the same rules as everybody else.
Gulfstream guys.
So,
Hey, can I ask? And if you don't answer it, it's probably fine. I know we are time constrained, but I don't mean it bad and bad. But what was your craziest day?
I would say it was when we finally opened up in San Juan. So after Maria, we were daytime ops only. We had a skeleton crew. So we stayed that night in the tower until the hurricane passed. And obviously we had to evacuate the tower at 65 mile an hour winds because that's what the glass is rated for. So we come up in the morning, tech ops certifies everything, and they go, well, you don't have weather radar. Your localizer's pointing out to the ocean. You don't have electricity. So you're daytime only, and your VFR, we're non-radar. And we go, well, shit, how do we start doing this? And the FAA goes, well, we're going to get the approach control up into the tower. And the approach control said, nope, we're not coming upstairs. We don't have enough people. We can't get to the airport. So there I was sitting there at local control on the tower position. And I have the 0.65 with all the phraseology to vector people. And I have all the flip charts on the other side. And as a tower controller, that's usually a 5-mile ring and 3,000 feet of airspace. I have 80 miles now, and I'm getting Miami Center is stacking all the arrivals over the inbound.
Oh, shit.
So that's just the civilians. So I get the civilians, all the airliners, 40 miles out. The military goes direct to the VOR and holds. So I have 2 C5s, 2 C17s, and a couple others. I think there are 135s above them. 1,000
they've all got supplies for the island.
They're stacked right over the top of your head, basically, right?
Yep, right over the VOR. 9,000 feet was the bottom of the stack. So you got to bring one out, bring the next one down, and we became an Air Force base initially. But that was the craziest day because it was more preservation of life than it was, saying the rules right. Did you have the right phraseology? And so we did that for 13 days. We lived at the facility. We did 4 hours on, 4 hours off for 13 days. And after it, we finally restored all the services. We're somewhat back to normal. The FAA administrator at the time was Michael Horta. He came down, and he came down in DOT-1. It's the first time I've seen DOT-1. It's their own call sign when he flies. And he flew in with the COO and everybody, and we got called into the chief's office. They go, hey, we need you guys. And we go, shit, right? The first thing you know is like, that's when you're in trouble.
Here it comes.
So we all walk in, and he's there, and he shakes it. Oh, hey, hello. So nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. And he goes, all right, gentlemen. He goes, he's like, we're proud. He's like, you did a good job. He goes, 13 days. You had this many operations. You had this many pounds of cargo. You had this much water. You had this much food. He goes, you had 3 cell towers on the C5s. He goes, you had all this stuff. He's like, you restored an island within 13 days. He goes, and not one loss of separation, not one wake turbulence loss. And he goes, the fact that you guys managed to pull that out of your asses on the spot with nobody asking you to do it. He goes, we're fucking proud of you guys. So great job.
America.
Hell yeah.
We had those moments where you're just like, oh shit, right? So it's like, yeah, it's cool. And the tower won an award for it through the FAA later on.
And then, of course, you all got time off with pay, and they sent you some tropical island.
So they gave us, they compensated. They gave us overtime for every hour that we lived in the facility. So 13 days of overtime.
Great. Nice.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well done.
So
well done.
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, it's days like that where you're just like, oh shit, we weren't expecting this, and then all of a sudden here it comes. So
that's great.
Cool. Thank you.
There it is.
And Sticks put up.
Watch out for the tail.
Yeah. Sticks put up an iguana. That was.
There it is. I love it.
That's a small one.
The dragon.
Shark 1-1, your takeoff clearance is canceled. There's an iguana on the runway.
Wait, you were sharks? You were shark?
When we were operating out of San Juan, our call sign was Shark.
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were ever on them, but yeah, I remember sharks.
Well, I was on them a lot. I commanded the det when we were down there for a couple months.
Oh, nice.
Oh, by the way, big cockfighting arena, and right next door to the cockfighting arena is a chicken restaurant.
Yeah.
And the chicken there is amazing because it's fresh.
It's fresh.
Let me just take that one more step. In our downtown layover, downtown, right next door is something called the Condom Factory. Have you ever been? Okay, maybe you're married. You can tell me later. I was just curious because that place is pretty hopping.
Condom?
Nope.
Condom Factory.
We'll have to talk.
Oh,
We'll talk
there was Condom World.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like a
Why
smoke
Condom
shop,
World?
sex shop.
Not
This
just
thing-
a factory, a world,
right, hold on.
a world in and of itself.
We
it's
started- There it is.
It's-
a cockfight up on the screen.
Hello.
Thank you, Sticks.
Hello.
Thank you, Sticks.
it is.
Oh, man.
I know this thing's gotten out of control here.
All right. Well, you have to go to work, Curtis. So
Yeah, I gotta get back to it.
We'll say our farewells and thank you for your service. Thank
Yeah.
you for
Yeah,
getting
absolutely.
getting those guys in safely and getting that island put back
Yeah,
together.
you got
13
it.
days in the tower. That's something, man.
Hey,
Yeah.
Curtis and Paul, thank you for putting up with our bullshit and answering all our silly questions. It's really nice, having a conversation with the people we never get to see when we're talking on the radio.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
We got to have you
I
back.
really
and have
appreciate
more,
you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, we're
more
real
pilot
people.
controller talk. This is always good.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having us. I appreciate the opportunity, and anytime you need us, you give us a call. You got my number.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't
Love
want
to
your
have you
number.
back.
Wait, don't give us your number.
We don't want to call you. We don't want to call you back.
Let me an email or something.
Yeah,
That's
course.
right. Stand by for a possible
It's a text.
possible pilot deviation and give him a call.
there it is. That's it.
Condom World. He's got Sticks now has a picture of the storefront of Condom World up, and it's abierto.
You know. You know.
You thought I was joking. That's a chain, by the way. There's like 20.
Oh my God! How do you find that so fast? I can't even find the picture of it.
I know he's crazy. He's freaking crazy. All right.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, but before you go, 30 seconds. Close out your "So There I Was" story. You got an Airbus and a local.
Yeah. So we used to have this low offshore transition. So all the islanders coming back from the islands out east used to transition along the shoreline to keep under the departures. And normally we would keep them about a mile offshore, but they didn't like it a lot because the glide distance, if they lost engines, wasn't enough to get to the runway.
Yeah.
So he was like, I'm going to cheat the system here, and I'm going to just track the shoreline. So the shoreline is about, 500 feet off the departure end.
Yeah.
So as an Allegiant is rotating, we have an Islander, and the Islander sees them. So the Islander starts climbing. Allegiant sees them, and this Airbus, gears still coming up, ducks under the Islander and comes back on the backside. And there's a giant investigation about it. Yeah, it wasn't pretty. And there's a lot of conversations after the fact, and we changed that transition. It's no longer because of that. So yeah, it was interesting. Everybody puckered. That was a they're going to hit and we're going to watch a fireball. And
Were you doing this? Like, were you like, oh,
Touch it up.
like trying to get small for him?
I was looking at
You're
it.
shrinking in the tower. No.
It's like, well, yeah, that's an Islander right there. It's not a very high performing aircraft. It's
Thank you, Sticks.
yeah. So
little twin.
it wasn't pretty, and you kind of think sometimes like, how would I react in that situation, and what are you going to do? What are you going to do in 1 second that's going to prevent that? You just kind of hope and pray, and whatever happens, and you deal with it. So that was a possible pilot deviation, and that got reported up the chain, and we had a lot of change in policy after that. I'll say that much. So
Man,
that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
right? I can only imagine.
Okay.
Well, thank
you
you.
for
Thank
Yeah,
you
thank
indeed,
you
very much.
Curtis. Much appreciated. And
Thank you, guys.
well, if you'll hang on for us here a little bit, we're gonna wrap the show. We're gonna land the airplane, and then we'll chit chat a little bit, some after show.
There it is.
So, yeah, crazy.
I'm not
All
lying.
right. Well, before we wrap, we want to say thank you to both of you for joining us, for all the work you've done, and it's necessary, and we all felt a little of your pain, at least. What's the word? Vicariously. Back in November. So I know that was a tough slog for you guys. So thank you. I guess it was October, November.
Of course.
Yeah. So yeah. So we also want to say thank you to all the men and women on active duty, our veterans and our first responders. We're deeply appreciative to them for all the sacrifice through which they go to make our country a better place.
Hey, thank you, families. We love you.
Yeah, because if the families weren't there providing support and being that rock, those first responders and our active duty and reserve guys and Coast Guard guys and Guard guys, they couldn't be out there doing their thing.
Yeah.
No.
So
absolutely not.
Thank
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Huge thanks to Dave Hamilton for all his knowledge, support, and steady hand that helps us get the show out to you every single week. And you got anything, Fig? No, guess not. Okay.
No,
Our bandwidth is handled by
Hold on a second.
Cashfly, and advertising support comes from Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com.
Hey, can you put a Tomcat on there too? I mean, the area
You
is sexy.
probably can, but Yeah.
It's going to be a cut. And there it is.
Oh, there's some hotness.
And you know what?
Okay.
I can't find my notes here.
That's okay. We'll keep going here. I'll just keep going then. So if you enjoy the show, please head over to SoThereIWas.us/rate and give us a 5-star rating. It really does help the algorithms, and it helps people find the show. If you got an idea for a guest or a way to make the show better, email us at RePete, REPETE, at SoThereIWas.us, or Fig at SoThereIWas.us, or Sticks at SoThereIWas.us. And don't forget the merch store.
God bless America.
Catch your eye, Fig.
That's right. So, if it's made, we probably have it on the merch store. However, I know we're in wintertime, and it's not wintertime in most places right now, but still south of the border in the southern hemisphere, it's bikini season, and we have a So There I Was bikini, which looks good on almost everybody.
Want to touch. So hot.
Okay. Anyway,
I'm sorry.
Oh boy, this is degraded rapidly.
I just said hot.
Yeah, this is bad. So, oh man. So, Kemo, you're killing me here, man. To our Patreon supporters, thank you so much for what you do. We know you've lost all sense of judgment and common sense with regards to your financial stability. We're deeply appreciative of that, though. Particularly this week, John C. Vestal became a division lead on Patreon, and Mike Andrews dropped a Benjamin on us, $100. Mike, thank you so much. He did that over at SoThereIWas.us/donate. We're humbled by that.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah.
I'm questioning your judgment, but thank you. It's very important.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
It is indeed. And let's see. Massive thanks to Sticks and Bagos. Sticks is out there putting up all kinds of stuff before we even know we need to say it. And right now he has a badass sticker at bdsaviationphotography.com, who sent us about 18 or 20 beautiful.
Oh my gosh.
Today.
Those are amazing. Yeah. That's an example of it right there. Holy shit.
Yeah. So thank you, badass. Thank you, Sticks. Thank you, Bago. And I just don't know what else to say, man. But that's the way it is. So seems to me there's somebody else I should be. Any hints? Any thoughts there?
As a matter of fact, I recognize that sound. That's the sound of the 2 Air Force F-16 pilots that makes the Air Force sound good.
Air Force F-16?
It's the DOS Air Force F-16. The Dos Gringos, which, by the way, we are at the Joker level right now because with the bottles broken open, and Bingo is right about down here. This is their brown
liquor spirits. Is that Bogey Dope?
Bogey Dope, and it's fantastic.
Bottle of Bogey Dope, Miller Spirits, and the Dos Gringos. So good stuff.
They got 4 albums and a bad song on any of their albums. And if you're having a bad day, you should listen to one of their songs because they're all
absolutely
hilarious.
Absolutely. So, all right, everybody. Till next week. All I can tell you is stay safe and check 6.
Well, there I was, crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly fond of all the shit I was wearing on that day. Now an F-16 is cramped enough, but it's even worse with all that stuff supposed to save your life. But we knew there was no way. 'Cause when you're going down in the North Atlantic, man, it's over.
Oh, hold on. What do you say, Fig?
He said it's over.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue.
And we're
out. Wrong week.
All right. That was one of the most painful outros we've ever done. Sorry, everybody. I hope you had as much fun as Fig, Kemo, and Sticks did.